Hey crew, it's Pitt, and I am back with some more philosophy. Today we are diving back into the works of Friedrich Nietzsche. This is Thus Spake Zarathustra, and we are reading aloud and discussing as we go along the various topics that are brought to light by the text and my interpretation of them. That is not the format for everybody, and if it is not for you, you're welcome to not be here. Before we begin, however, if you are unfamiliar with me, any of my unconventional beliefs, or if at any point in time you get lost in the sauce and don't understand what I am talking about, there are various playlists that are linked in the corner up here in the box down below, along with the original source material, so that you can have a clearer understanding of that which I am talking about. And we're going to have one more before we begin today. I have talked all the way through this about how I believe that Nietzsche was on the path to enlightenment and he never quite got there. Somebody may be taking an exception to the fact that I am talking about philosophy and enlightenment in the same terms, but guess what? They are the same thing. And so, just because you do not understand what enlightenment entails does not mean that I do not. I agree. People use that term all of the time and they do not understand it. Many of them are attached to the control systems, and they are using those control systems to keep you from your full potential. I, however, have a little bit of extra knowledge, some things added on top of the things that most people think about. I have had a direct revelation. I have had a spiritual experience, and you don't have to take that for enlightenment, but I do. Enlightenment is seeking the little bit more knowledge, the divine knowledge that is not necessarily tied to the mortal coil. And it is a process by which you can yourself become enlightened. I believe that I am on that path. I believe that Nietzsche was seeking that path. Not that he was on it, not that he attained it at all. But there are certain steps that are, in fact, identifiable. There are allegories for the spiritual transformation that you go through on the path to enlightenment. And it does appear that in book 4, we have dealt with that. It is the videos immediately preceding this one. And some people have a problem with the word enlightenment, apparently, because I am using it wrong. Well, I'm here to tell you that it has been used wrong all the way back through history. The people who have claimed to be enlightened, in fact, have not been. And that is because they did not have balance in their life. They lived a life of exclusion. And if you are living a life of exclusion, let me make sure that this is absolutely clear to you. If you are living a life of exclusion, you are not enlightened. That means that if you are a vegetarian, you are not enlightened. If you abstain from all drink, you are not enlightened. If you refuse to acknowledge emotions, you are not enlightened. And I want to be extremely clear in that particular terminology, because apparently I don't understand what enlightenment might be. And while there is absolutely no dearth of people out there spouting things upon which they have no clue, I am not one of those people. I speak about the things in which I do, in fact, have a clue, and I try to veer away from the ones that I don't. And if I am speculating within that realm, I make it pretty fucking clear that I am doing so. When I speak about enlightenment, I am on that path, and I am at least one step ahead of every single control system on this planet. At least one step ahead. And I don't say that with pride, I say that with humility. It is something that has been revealed to me. It is not the product of my own, right? It is something given to me, something that I am disseminating to people. The point of all of this is to lead as many people as possible to the path of enlightenment, and to show them that some of the trip hazards along the way were placed there intentionally, including some of the control systems by which I absolutely do include Buddhism, Confucianism, Judaism, Christianity, and all of the rest. Every single one of the control systems is designed to keep you from reaching your full potential. I fully and emphatically believe that, and I am here to shit on every single one of them. And I really don't care if that hurts your feelings. I do not intentionally hurt people's feelings normally. I have a tendency to try to avoid stepping on toes, but if I do happen to step on toes, while it is not intentional, I do not apologize for it. Just so that we're fully clear on where I stand in this particular situation. If me talking about enlightenment and the path thereof, or using any of the terminology which I outline in these various playlists, offends you, you are more than welcome to not be here. This path is, while it is open to everyone, it is not for everyone. It is a narrow path, it is rocky, and there is a climb. Most people are not willing to partake in those type of strenuous activities, and if you're leaving the comments, you're probably one of them. With that being said, we're going to try and wrap this one up today because I'm quite honestly a little bit done with Nietzsche. He is a whiny little guy. He is somebody who is perpetually a victim and incessantly on the wrong path. And so we're going to discuss what Zarathustra says, but we are going to strive to get rid of it today. We're going to try and get all the way through this today. I believe it is possible, but it is going to be a little bit long. So if you're here, bless you. I am here to help you. I am here to reveal things. But if you are here to argue for no reason, you don't need to be here. It is not going to do you any good. The greeting. It was late in the afternoon only when Zarathustra, after long useless searching and strolling about, again came home to his cave. When, however, he stood over against it, not more than 20 paces therefrom, the thing happened which he now least of all expected. He heard anew the great cry of distress, and extraordinary. This time the cry came out of his own cave. It was a long, manifold, peculiar cry, and Zarathustra plainly distinguished that it was composed of many voices. Although heard at a distance, it might sound like the cry out of a single mouth. Thereupon Zarathustra rushed forward to his cave, and behold, what a spectacle awaited him after that concert! For there did they all sit together whom he had passed during the day, the king on the right and the left, the old magician, the pope, the voluntary beggar, the shadow, the intellectually conscientious one, and the sorrowful soothsayer, and the ass. The ugliest man, however, had set a crown on his head, and had put round him 2 purple girdles. For he liked, like all ugly ones, to disguise himself and play the handsome person. In the midst, however, of that sorrowful company stood Zarathustra's eagle, ruffled and disquieted, for it had been called upon to answer too much for which his pride had not any answer. The wise serpent, however, hung round its neck. All this did Zarathustra behold with great astonishment. Then, however, he scrutinized each individual guest with courteous curiosity, read their souls, and wondered anew. In the meantime, the assembled ones had risen from their seats and awaited with reverence for Zarathustra to speak. Zarathustra, however, spake thus: Ye despairing ones, ye strange ones, so it was your cry of distress that I heard? And now do I know also where he is to be sought, whom I have sought for in vain today, the higher man. In mine cave sitteth he, the higher man. But why do I wonder? Have not I myself allured him to me by honey offerings, and artful lure cause of my happiness? But it seemeth to me that ye are badly adapted for company. Ye make one another's hearts fretful, ye that cry for help. When you sit here together, there is one that must first come, one who will make you laugh once more, a good, jovial buffoon, a dancer, a wind, a wild romp, some old fool. What think ye? Forgive me, however, ye despairing ones, for speaking such trivial words before you, unworthy verily of such guests, but ye do not divine what maketh my heart wanton. Ye yourselves do it, and your aspect. Forgive it me. For every one becometh courageous, and beholdeth a despairing one. To encourage a despairing one, every one thinketh himself strong enough to do so. To myself have ye given this power, a good gift, mine honorable guests, an excellent guest's present. Well, do not then upbraid, I also offer you something of mine. This is mine empire and my dominion. That which is mine, however, shall this evening and tonight be yours. Mine animals shall serve you. Let my cave be your resting place. At house and home with me shall no one despair. In my purlieus do I protect everyone from his wild beasts, and that is the first thing which I offer you, security. The second thing, however, is my little finger. And when ye have that, then take the whole hand also, yea, and the heart with it. Welcome here, welcome to you, my guests. Thus spake Zarathustra, and laughed with love and mischief. After his greeting, his guests bowed once more, and were reverentially silent. The king on the right, however, answered him in their name. O Zarathustra, by the way in which thou hast given us thy hand and thy greeting, we recognize thee as Zarathustra. Thou hast humbled thyself before us. Almost hast thou hurt our reverence. Who, however, could have humbled himself as thou hast done, with such pride, that uplifteth us ourselves? A refreshment is it to our eyes and hearts. To behold this, merely, gladly would we ascend higher mountains than this, for as eager beholders have we come. We wanted to see what brighteneth dim eyes. And lo, now is it all over with our cries of distress. Now are our minds and hearts open and enraptured. Little is lacking for our spirits to become wanton. There is nothing, O Zarathustra, that groweth more pleasingly on earth than a lofty, strong will. It is the finest growth. An entire landscape refresheth itself at one such tree. To the pine do I compare him, O Zarathustra, which groweth up like thee, tall, silent, hardy, solitary, of the best, supplest wood, stately. In the end, however, grasping out for its dominion with strong green branches, asking weighty questions of the wind, the storm, and whatever is at home on high places, answering more weightily a commander, a victor. Oh, who should not ascend high mountains to behold such growths? At thy tree, O Zarathustra, the gloomy and ill-constituted also refresh themselves. At thy look, even the wavering become steady, and heal their hearts. And verily, towards thy mountain and thy tree do many eyes turn today. A great longing hath arisen, and many have learned to ask, Who is Zarathustra? And those in whose ears thou hast at any time dripped thy song and thy honey, all the hidden ones, the lone dwellers and the twain dwellers, have simultaneously said to their hearts, Doth Zarathustra still live? It is no longer worth while to live. Everything is indifferent. Everything is useless. Or else we must live with Zarathustra. Why doth he not come who hath so long announced himself? Thus do many people ask, Hath solitude swallowed him up? Or should we, perhaps, go to him? Now doth it come to pass that solitude itself becometh fragile and breaketh open, like a grave that breaketh open and can no longer hold its dead. Everywhere one seeth resurrected ones. Now do the waves rise, and rise around thy mountain, O Zarathustra, and however high be thy height, many of them must rise up to thee. Thy boat shall not rest much longer on dry ground. And that we, despairing ones, have now come into thy cave, and already no longer despair, it is but a prognostic and a presage that better ones are on the way to thee. For they themselves are on the way to thee, the last remnant of God among men, that is to say, all the men of great longing, of great loathing, of great satiety. All who do not want to live unless they learn again to hope, unless they learn from thee, O Zarathustra, the great hope. Thus spake the king on the right, and seized the hand of Zarathustra in order to kiss it, but Zarathustra checked his veneration, and stepped back frightened, fleeing, as it were, silently and suddenly into the far distance. After a little while, however, he was again at home with his guests, looked at them with clear, scrutinizing eyes, and said, "My guests, ye higher men, I will speak plain language and plainly with you. It is not for you that I have waited here in these mountains." "Plain language and plainly? Good God!" said here the king on the left to himself. "One seeth he doth not know the good Occidentals, this sage out of the Orient. But he meaneth blunt language and bluntly. Well, that is not the worst taste in these days. Ye may, verily, all of you be higher men, continued Zarathustra, but for me ye are neither high enough nor strong enough. For me, that is to say, for the inexorable which is now silent in me, but will not always be silent. And if ye appertain to me, still is it not as my right arm? For he who standeth like you, on sickly and tender legs, wisheth above all to be treated indulgently, whether he be conscious of it or hide from it. My arms and legs, however, I do not treat indulgently. I do not treat my warriors indulgently. How then could ye be fit for my warfare? With you, I should spoil all my victories, and many of you would tumble over if you but heard the loud beating of my drums. Moreover, ye are not sufficiently beautiful and well born for me. I require pure, smooth mirrors for my doctrines. On your surface even mine own likeness is distorted. On your shoulders presseth many a burden, many a recollection, many a mischievous dwarf squatteth in your corners. There is a concealed populace also in you. And though ye be high and of a higher type, much in you is crooked and misshapen. There is no smith in the world that could hammer you right and straight for me. Ye are only bridges, many higher ones pass over upon you. Ye signify steps, so do not upbraid him who ascendeth beyond you into his height. They signify steps? They're bridges? They signify steps? No, there's no way that allegory is correct. Out of your seed there may one day arise for me a genuine son and perfect heir, but that time is distant. Ye yourselves are not those unto whom my heritage and name belong. Not for you do I wait here in these mountains, not with you may I descend for the last time. Ye have come unto me only as a presage that higher ones are on the way to me. Not the men of great longing, of great loathing, of great satiety, and that which ye call the remnant of God. Nay, nay, 3 times nay. For others do I wait in these mountains, and will not lift my foot from thence without them. For higher ones, stronger ones, triumphanter ones, merrier ones, for such as are built squarely in body and soul. Laughing lions must come. O my guests, ye strange ones, have ye yet heard nothing of my children, and that they are on the way to me? Do speak unto me of my gardens, of my happy isles, of my new beautiful race. Why do you not speak unto me thereof? This guests present do I solicit of your love, that ye speak unto me of my children. For them I am rich, for them I became poor. What have I not surrendered? What would I not surrender that I might have one thing? These children, this living plantation, these life trees of my will and of my highest hope. Thus spake Zarathustra, and stopped suddenly in his discourse, for his longing came over him, and he closed his eyes and his mouth because of the agitation in his heart. And all his guests also were silent, and stood still and confounded, except only that the old soothsayer made signs with his hands and his gestures. Wait, is it allegory? All of the people that he wandered into the wilderness and found and sent back to his cave for assimilation, that's an allegory? No, you don't say. I wonder. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit perturbed. And that is part of human emotion, by the way. The supper. For at this point the soothsayer interrupted the greeting of Zarathustra and his guests. He pressed forward as one who had no time to lose, seized Zarathustra's hand, and exclaimed, "But Zarathustra, one thing is more necessary than the other. So sayest thou thyself. Well, one thing is now more necessary unto me than all others. A word at the right time. Didst thou not invite me to table? And here are many who have made long journeys. Thou dost not mean to feed us merely with discourses. Besides, all of you have thought too much about freezing, drowning, suffocating, and other bodily dangers. None of you, however, have thought of my danger, namely, perishing of hunger." Thus spake the soothsayer. When Zarathustra's animals, however, heard these words, they ran away in terror, for they saw that all they had brought home during the day would not be enough to fill the one soothsayer. "Likewise, perishing of thirst," continued the soothsayer, "and although I hear water splashing here like words of wisdom, that is to say, plenteous and unwearied, I want wine. Not everyone is born a water drinker like Zarathustra. Neither doth water suit weary and withered ones. We deserve wine. It alone giveth immediate vigor and improvised health." On this occasion, when the soothsayer was longing for wine, it happened that the king on the left, the silent one, also found expression for once. "We took care," said he, "about wine. I, along with my brother the king on the right, we have had enough wine, a whole assload of it, so there is nothing lacking but bread." "Bread," replied Zarathustra, laughing when he spake, "it is precisely bread that anchorites have not. But man doth not live by bread alone, but also by the flesh of good lambs, of which I have 2. These shall we slaughter quickly and cook spicily with sage. It is so that I like them. And there is also no lack of roots and fruits, good enough even for the fastidious and dainty, nor of nuts and other riddles for cracking. Thus will we have a good repast in a little while, but whoever wish to eat with us must also give a hand to the work, even the kings, for with Zarathustra even a king may be a cook." This proposal appealed to the hearts of all of them, save that the voluntary beggar objected to the flesh and wine and spices. "Just hear this glutton, Zarathustra," said he jokingly. "Doth one go into caves and high mountains to make such repasts? Now indeed do I understand what he once taught us, blessed be moderate poverty, and why he wisheth to do away with beggars." "Be of good cheer," replied Zarathustra, "as I am. Abide by thy customs, thou excellent one. Grind thy corn, drink thy water, praise thy cooking, if only it make thee glad. I am a law only for mine own. I am not a law for all. He, however, who belongeth unto me must be strong of bone and light of foot, joyous in fight and feast, no sulker, no John of dreams, ready for the hardest task as for the feast, healthy and hale. The best belongeth unto mine and me, and if it not given us, then do we take it. The best food, the purest sky, the strongest thoughts, the fairest women. Thus spake Zarathustra. The king on the right, however, answered and said, "Strange, did one ever hear such sensible things out of the mouth of a wise man? And verily, it is the strangest thing in a wise man, if, over and above, he still be sensible and not an ass." Thus spake the king on the right and wondered. The ass, however, with ill will, said yea to his remark. This, however, was the beginning of that long repast which is called the supper in the history books, and it is there was nothing else spoken of but the higher man. And so here we have a lesson in moderation. What do you know? It's not the exclusion of things, but rather the moderation of things which lead to the path of enlightenment. Imagine that. I wonder if anybody's been saying that. You don't hear it a lot from people, do you? You hear a lot about exclusion from people. You hear, don't eat meat, it is terrible. Don't drink alcohol, it is terrible. Don't you dare dance, it's sinful. You hear all of those things from the control systems, but man was created to eat meat. That's why our teeth are shaped the way that they are. That's why our digestive system can handle the amino acid breakdown. Some animals can't. Some can, right? Deer eat fish. Did you know that? I bet you didn't. Deer will eat small animals that they find dead on the ground, right? There is a way for them to get the minerals and the resources necessary out of that, but deer don't go fishing. Man is not meant for exclusion. We are here to embrace and overcome the challenges that we face, and gluttony is definitely one of them, but so is charity. You're not supposed to be entirely charitable. You're supposed to be moderately charitable. You're supposed to have things for yourself and give things away. That is part of enlightenment. And if you are excluding either one of those parts, you're doing it wrong. If you're selling everything you own and giving it away to the poor, you are doing it wrong. The higher man. When I came unto men for the first time, then did I commit the anchorite folly, the great folly. I appeared on the marketplace. And when I spake unto all, I spake unto none. In the evening, however, rope dancers were my companions, and corpses. And I, myself, almost a corpse. With the new morning, however, there came unto me a new truth. Then did I learn to say, of what account to me are the marketplace and populous noise and long populous ears. Ye higher men, learn this from me. On the marketplace no one believeth in higher men. But if you will speak there, very well. The populace, however, blinketh. We are all equal. Ye higher men, so blinketh the populace, there are no higher men. We are all equal. Man is man. Before God we are all equal. Before God? Now, however, this God hath died. Before the populace, however, we will not be equal. Ye higher men, away from the marketplace. 2. Before God, now, however, this God hath died. Ye higher men, this God was your greatest danger. Only since he lay in the grave have ye again arisen. Now only cometh the great noontide. Now only doth the higher man become master. Have you understood this word, O my brethren? Ye are frightened. Do your hearts turn giddy? Doth the abyss here yawn for you? Doth the hellhound here yelp at you? Well, take heart, ye higher men. Now only travaileth the mountain of the human future. God hath died. Now do we desire the Superman to live. God didn't die, the control systems did. 3. The most careful ask today, how is man to be maintained? Zarathustra, however, asketh, as the first and only one, how is man to be surpassed? The Superman I have at heart, that is the first and only thing to me, and not man, not the neighbor, not the poorest, not the sorriest, not the best. O my brethren, what I can love in man is that he is an overgoing and a downgoing, and also in you there is much that maketh me love and hope. In that ye have despised, ye higher men, that maketh me hope. For the great despisers are the great reverers. In that ye have despaired, there is much to honor, for ye have not learned to submit yourselves, ye have not learned petty policy. For today have the petty people become master. They all preach submission and humility and policy and diligence and consideration and the long etc. of petty virtues. Whatever is of the effeminate type, whatever originateth from the servile type, and especially the populous mishmash, that wisheth now to be the master of all human destiny? Oh, disgust, disgust, disgust. That asketh and never tireth, how is man to maintain himself best, longest, most pleasantly? Thereby are they the masters of today. These masters of today surpass them. O my brethren, these petty people, they are the Superman's greatest danger. Surpass, ye higher men, the petty virtues, the petty policy, the sand-grain considerateness, the ant-hill trumpery, the pitiable comfortableness, the happiness of the greatest number, and rather despair than to submit yourselves. And verily, I love you, because ye know not today how to live, ye higher men, for thus do ye live best. And that is talking about the control systems. 4. Have ye courage, O my brethren? Are ye stout-hearted? 4. Not the courage before witnesses, but anchorite and eagle courage, which not even a God any longer beholdeth. Cold souls, mules, the blind and the drunken, I do not call stout-hearted. He hath heart who knoweth fear, but vanquisheth it, who seeth the abyss, but with pride. He who seeth the abyss, but with eagle's eyes, he who with eagle's talons graspeth the abyss, he hath courage. Man is evil, so said to me for consolation all the wisest ones. Ha! If only it be still true today, for the evil is man's best force. Man must become a better and eviler. So do I teach. The evilest is necessary for the superman's best. It may have been well for the preacher of the petty people to suffer and be burdened by men's sin. I, however, rejoice in great sin as my great consolation. Such things, however, are not said for long years. Every word, also, is not suited for every mouth. These are fine, far-away things. At them sheep's claws shall not grasp. Ye higher men, think ye that I am here to put right what you have put wrong? Or that I wished henceforth to make snugger couches for your sufferers? Or show you restless miswanderings, misclimbing ones, new and easier footpaths? Nay, nay, 3 times nay. Always more, always better ones of your type shall succumb. For ye shall always have it worse and harder. Thus only groweth man aloft to the height where lightning striketh and shattereth him, high enough for the lightning. Towards the few, the long, the remote go forth my soul and my seeking. Of what account to me are your many, little, short miseries? Ye do not yet suffer enough for me, for ye suffer from yourselves. Ye have not yet suffered from man. Ye would lie if ye spake otherwise. None of you suffereth from what I have suffered. It is not enough for me that the lightning no longer doeth harm. I do not wish to conduct it away. It shall learn to work for me. My wisdom hath accumulated long like a cloud, and become stiller and darker. So doeth all things which shall one day bear lightnings. Until these men of today will I not be light, nor be called light. Them will I blind. Lightning of my wisdom, put out their eyes. Do not will anything beyond your power. There is a bad falseness in those who will beyond their power, especially when they will great things, for they awaken distrust in great things, these subtle false coiners and stage players, until at last they are false towards themselves, squint-eyed white cankers, glossed over with strong words, parade virtues, and brilliant false deeds. Take good care there, ye higher men, for nothing is more precious to me and rarer than honesty. Is this today not that of the populace? The populace, however, knoweth not what is great and what is small, what is straight and what is honest. It is innocently crooked, it ever lieth. Have a good distrust today, ye higher men, ye enlightened ones, enheartened ones, ye open-hearted ones, and keep your reasons secret, for this today is that of the populace. What the populace once learned to believe without reasons, who could refute it to them by means of reasons? And on the marketplace one convinceth with gestures. But reasons make the populace distrustful. And when truth hath once triumphed there, then ask yourselves with good distrust, what strong error hath fought for it? Be on your guard also against the learned. They hate you, because they are unproductive. They have cold, withered eyes before which every bird is unplumed. Such persons vaunt about not lying, But inability to lie is still far from being love to truth. Be on your guard. Freedom from fever is still far from being knowledge. Refrigerated spirits I do not believe in. He who cannot lie doth not know what truth is. If ye would go up high, then use your own legs. Do not get yourselves carried aloft. Do not seat yourselves on other people's backs and heads. Thou hast mounted, however, on horseback. Thou now ridest briskly up to thy goal. Well, my friend, but thy lame foot is also with thee on horseback. When thou reachest thy goal, when thou alightest from thy horse, precisely on thy height, thou higher man, then wilt thou stumble. Ye creating ones, ye higher men, one is only pregnant with one's own child. Do not let yourself be imposed upon or put upon. Who then is your neighbor? Even if you act for your neighbor, ye still do not create for him. Unlearn, I pray you, this for, ye creating ones. Your very virtue wisheth you to have naught to do with for and on account of and because. Against these false little words shall ye stop your ears. For one's neighbor is the virtue only of the petty people. There it is said, like and like, hand washeth hand. They have neither the right nor the power for your self-seeking. In your self-seeking, ye creating ones, there is the foresight and foreseeing of the pregnant. What no one's eye hath yet seen, namely the fruit, this sheltereth and saveth and nourisheth your entire love. Where your entire love is, namely with your child, there is also your entire virtue. Your work, your will is your neighbor. Let no false values impose upon you. 12. Ye creating ones, ye higher men, whoever hath to give birth is sick, whoever hath given birth, however is unclean. Ask women, one giveth birth, not because it giveth pleasure. The pain make hens and poets cackle. Ye creating ones, in you there is much uncleanliness. That is because ye have had to be mothers. A new child, oh, how much new filth hath also come into the world. Go apart, he who hath given birth shall wash his soul. 13. Be not virtuous beyond your powers, and seek nothing from yourselves opposed to probability. Walk in the footsteps in which your father's virtue hath already walked. How would ye rise high if your father's will should not rise with you? He, however, who would be a firstling, let him take care lest he also become a lastling. And where the vices of your fathers are, there should ye not set up as saints? He whose fathers were inclined for women and for strong wine and flesh of wild boar swine, what would it be if he demanded chastity of himself? A folly would it be, much, verily, doth it seem to me, for such a one, if he should be the husband of one or two or of 3 women. And if he founded monasteries and inscribed over their portals the way to holiness, I should still say, what good is it? It is a new folly. He hath founded for himself a penance house and refuge house, much good may it do, but I do not believe in it. In solitude there groweth what any one bringeth into it, also the brute in one's nature. Thus is solitude inadvisable unto many. Hath there ever been anything filthier on earth than the saints of the wilderness? Around them was not only the devil loose, but also the swine. And this is direct contradiction to the moderation before, right? This is an extreme, right? If your nature is to be sexually satisfied, then you should satisfy that. It is remarkably foolish. And you can talk about me imposing morals all you want. It is the human nature. Jealousy is a human instinct. Shy, ashamed, awkward, like the tiger whose spring hath failed. Thus, ye higher men, have I often seen you slink aside. A cast which ye made had failed. But what doth it matter, ye dice players? Ye had not learned to play in mock, as one must play in mock. Do we not ever sit at great table of mocking and playing? And if great things have been a failure with you, have ye yourselves therefore been a failure? And if ye yourselves have been a failure, hath man therefore been a failure? And if man, however, hath been a failure, well then never mind. 15. The higher its type, always the seldomer doth all things succeed. Ye higher men here, have ye not all been failures? Be of good cheer. What doth it matter? How much is still possible? Learn to laugh at yourselves, as ye ought to laugh. What wonder even that ye have failed, and only have succeeded, ye half shattered ones? Doth not man's future strive and struggle in you? Man's furthest, profoundest, star highest issues, his prodigious powers. Do not all these foam through one another in your vessel? What wonder that many a vessel shattereth? Learn to laugh at yourselves as ye ought to laugh, ye higher men. Oh, how much is still possible! And verily, how much hath already succeeded? How rich is this earth in small, good, perfect things, in well-constituted things? Set around you small, good, perfect things, ye higher men. Their golden maturity healeth the heart. The perfect teacheth one to hope. 16. What hath hitherto been the greatest sin here on earth? Was it not the word of him who said, Woe unto them that laugh now? Did he himself find no cause for laughter on the earth? Then he sought badly. A child even findeth cause for it. He did not love sufficiently, otherwise would he also have loved us, the laughing ones. But he hated and hooted us, wailing and teeth gnashing did he promise us. Must one then curse immediately, when one doth not love? That seemeth to me bad taste. Thus did he, however, this absolute one. He sprang from the populace, and he himself just did not love sufficiently. Otherwise he would have raged less because people did not love him. All great love doth not seek love. It seeketh more. Go out of the way of all such absolute ones. They are a poor, sickly type, a populist type. They look at this life with ill will. They have an evil eye for this earth. Go out of the way for all such absolute ones. They have heavy feet and sultry hearts. They do not know how to dance. How could the earth be light to such ones? That is true. 17. Tortuously do all good things come nigh to their goal. Like cats, they curve their backs, they purr inwardly with their approaching happiness. All good things laugh. His step betrayeth whether a person already walketh on his own path. Just see me walk. He, however, who cometh nigh to his goal, danceth. And verily, a statue have I not become. Not yet do I stand there stiff and stupid and stony, like a pillar. I love fast racing. And though there be on earth fens and dense afflictions, he who hath light feet runneth even across the mud, and danceth as well swept as upon well swept ice. Lift up your hearts, my brethren, higher, and do not forget your legs. Lift up also your legs, ye good dancers, and better still if ye stand upon your heads. 18. This crown of the laughter, this rose garland crown, I myself put on this crown. I myself have consecrated my laughter. No one else have I found today potent enough for this. Zarathustra the dancer, Zarathustra the light one, who beckoneth with his pinions, one ready for flight, beckoning unto all birds, ready and prepared, a blissfully light-spirited one. Zarathustra the soothsayer, Zarathustra the soothe laugher. No impatient one, no absolute one who loveth leaps and side leaps. I myself have put on this crown. 19. Lift up your hearts, my brethren, higher, and do not forget your legs. Lift up also your legs, ye good dancers, and better still if ye stand upon your heads. There are also heavy animals in a state of happiness. There are club-footed ones from the beginning. Curiously do they exert themselves like an elephant, which endeavoureth to stand upon its head. Better, however, to be foolish with happiness than foolish with misfortune. Better to dance awkwardly than walk lamely. So learn, I pray you, my wisdom, ye higher men. Even the worst thing hath two good reverse sides. Even the worst thing has good dancing legs. So learn, I pray you, ye higher men, to put yourselves on your proper legs. So unlearn, I pray you, the sorrow sighing and all the populace sadness. Oh, how sad the buffoons of the populace seem to me today. This today, however, is that of the populace. Do like unto the wind, when it rusheth forth from its mountain caves, unto its own piping will it dance. The seas tremble and leap under its footsteps. That which giveth wings to asses, that which milketh the lionesses. Praised be that good unruly spirit which cometh like a hurricane unto all the present and unto all the populace, which is hostile to the thistleheads and puzzleheads, and to all withered leaves and weeds. Praised be this wild, good, free spirit of the storm, which danceth upon fens and afflictions as upon meadows, which hateth the consumptive populace dogs, and all the ill-constituted sullen brood. Praised be the spirit of all free spirits, the laughing storm, which bloweth dust into the eyes of all the melanchopic and melancholic. Ye higher men, the worst thing in you is that you have done none of the... Ye higher men, the worst thing in you is that you have none of you learned to dance as you ought to dance beyond yourselves. What doth it matter that ye have failed? How many things are still possible? So learn to laugh beyond yourselves. Lift up your hearts, ye good dancers, higher, and do not forget the good laughter. This crown of the laughter, this rose garland crown, to you, my brethren, do I cast this crown. Laughing have I consecrated, ye higher men. Learn, I pray you, to laugh. And so we have a path of moderation, right? There are several wanderings into exclusion along the path, but the path is moderation. The path is moderation. The way is moderation, not exclusion. You are meant to feel emotions, and so you should feel emotions. That means you're going to get angry sometimes. That means you're going to get jealous sometimes. It means that you're going to get sorrowful sometimes. It is part of the human experience to experience the human emotions. But they are not to be your rulers. You are meant to be in control of them. Being in control of them is not denying them. It is using them in the manner in which they were intended. When you are sorrowful, you should cry and get it out and then let it go. You should not be melancholy about sorrow for months. If so, you have not attained enlightenment. You should not be desiring to exclude yourself from any of the worldly things, nor should you be submitting yourself to being subservient to the master of the worldly things. You are meant to be in control of your life in its entirety, which means that you have to laugh at the misfortunes sometimes, but sometimes you have to cry at the misfortunes too. It is part of the human experience. And if you are excluding, you are not on the path of enlightenment. The Song of Melancholy. When Zarathustra spake these sayings, he stood nigh to the entrance of his cave. With the last words, however, he slipped away from his guest and fled for a little while into the open air. "O pure odors around me," cried he. "O blessed stillness around me! But where are mine animals? Hither, hither, mine eagle and mine serpent. Tell me, mine animals, these higher men, all of them, do they perhaps not smell well? O pure odors around me, now only do I know and feel how I love you, mine animals." And Zarathustra said once more, "I love you, mine animals." The eagle, however, and the serpent pressed close unto him when he spake these words, and looked up to him. In this attitude were they all three, silent together, and sniffed and sipped the good air with one another. For the air here, outside, was better than with the higher men. 2. Hardly, however, had Zarathustra left the cave when the old magician got up, looked cunningly about him, and said, "He is gone. And already, ye hiremen, let me tickle you with this complimentary and flattering name, as he himself doeth. Already doth mine evil spirit of deceit and magic attack me, my melancholy devil, which is an adversary to this Zarathustra from the very heart. Forgive it for this. Now doth it wish to conjure before you. It hath just its hour. In vain do I struggle with this evil spirit. Unto all of you, whatever honors you like to assume in your names, whether you call yourselves the Free Spirits, or the Consciences, or the Penitents of the Spirit, or the Unfettered, or the Great Longerers, unto all of you, who, like me, suffer from the great loathing, to whom the old God hath died, and as yet no new God lieth in cradles and swaddling clothes, unto all of you is mine evil spirit and magic devil favorable. I know you, ye hiremen. I know him. I know also this fiend, whom I love in spite of me, this Zarathustra. He himself often seemeth to me like the beautiful mask of a saint, like a new, strange mummery in which mine evil spirit, the melancholy devil, delighteth. I love Zarathustra. So doth it often seem to me for the sake of mine evil spirits. But already doth it attack me and constrain me, this spirit of melancholy, this evening twilight devil. And verily, ye hiremen, it hath longing. Open your eyes. It hath a longing to come naked, whether male or female, I do not yet know, but it cometh. It constraineth me. Alas, open your wits. The day dieth out. Unto all things cometh now the evening. Also unto the best things hear now, and see, ye hiremen, what devil, man or woman, this spirit of even melancholy is. Thus spake the old magician, looked cunningly about him, and then seized his harp. In evening's limpid air, what time the dew's soothings upon the earth downpour invisibly and unheard, for tender shoe gear wear the soothing dews, like all that's kind gentle. Bethink'st thou then, burning heart, how once thou thirstedest for heaven's kindly teardrops and dews down droppings, all singed and weary thirstedest. What time on yellow grass pathways wicked, occidental sunny glances, through somber trees about thee sported, blindingly sunny, glow glances gladly hurting. Of truth, the wooer, thou? So taunted they, nay, merely poet. A brute, insidious, plundering, groveling, that I must lie, that wittingly, wilfully I must lie, for booty's lusting, mustly masked, self-hidden, shrouded, himself his booty. He, of truth, the wooer? Nay, mere fool, mere poet. Just motley speaking, from mask of fool, confusedly shouting, circumambling on fabricated word bridges, on motley rainbow arches, twixt the spurious heavenly and spurious earthly, round us roving, round us soaring, mere fool, mere poet. He, of truth, the wooer, not still, stiff, smooth, and cold, become an image, a godlike statue, set up in front of the temples, as a god's own dear guard. Nay, hostile to all such truthfulness statues in every desert homelier than in temples, with caddish wantonness through every window leaping quickly into chances, every wild forest a sniffing, greetingly, longingly sniffing, that thou, in wild forest, mong the motley speckled fierce creatures, shouldest rove, sinful sound and fine-colored, with longing lips smacking, blessedly mocking, blessedly hellish, blessedly bloodthirsty, robbing, skulking, lying, roving, or unto eagles, which fixedly, long adown their precipice look, adown their precipice. Oh, how they whirl down now, thereunder, therein, to ever deeper profoundness, whirling, then, sudden, with aim aright, with quivering flight, on lambkins pouncing, headlong down, sore hungry for lambkins longing, Fierce against all lamb spirits, furious, fierce against all that look sheep-like or lambite or crisp woolly, gray with lamb-sheep kindliness. Even thus, eagle-like, panther-like, are the poet's desires, are thine own desires neath 1,000 guises. Thou fool, thou poet, thou who all mankind viewest, so God as sheep. The God to rend with mankind as the sheep in mankind, and in rending, laughing. That is thine own blessedness, of a panther and an eagle blessedness, of a poet and a fool blessedness. In evening's limpid air, what time the moon sickle, green, twixt the purple glowings and jealous, stealeth forth, of day the foe with every step in secret, rosy garland hammocks, down sickling till they've shrunken, down nightwards faded, down sunken. Thus had I sunken one day from mine own truth and sanity, from mine own fervid day longings, of day a-weary, sick of sunshine, sunk downwards, evenwards, shadowwards, my one sole trueness, all scorched and thirsty. But think'st thou, burning hard, how then thou thirstedest, that I should banned be from all the trueness, mere fool, mere poet. Science. Thus sang the magician, and all who were present went like birds unawares into the net of his artful and melancholy voluptuousness. Only the spiritually conscientious one had not been caught. He at once snatched the harp from the magician and called out, "Air! Let in good air, let in Zarathustra. Thou makest this cave sultry and poisonous, thou bad old magician. Thou seducest, thou false one, thou subtle one, to unknown desires and deserts. And alas, that such as thou should talk and make ado about the truth. Alas, to all free spirits who are not on their guard against such magicians. It is all over with their freedoms. Thou teachest and temptest back into prisons. Thou old melancholy devil, out of thy lament soundeth allurement. Thou resemblest those who with their praise of chastity secretly invite to voluptuousness." Thus spake the conscientious one. The old magician, however, looked about him, enjoying his triumph, and on that account put up with the annoyance which the conscientious one had caused him. "Be still," said he with modest voice. "Good songs want to re-echo well. After good songs one should be long silent. Thus do all those present, the higher men. Thou, however, hast perhaps understood but little of my song, and there is little of the magic spirit." "Thou praisest me," replied the conscientious one, "and that thou separatest me from thyself. Very well. But ye others, what do I see? Ye still sit there, all of you, with lusting eyes. Ye free spirits, whither hath your freedom gone? You almost seem to me to resemble those who have long looked at bad girls dancing naked. Your souls themselves dance. In you, ye higher men, there must be more of that which the magician called his evil spirit of magic and deceit. We must, indeed, be different. And verily we spake and thought long enough together ere Zarathustra came home to his cave, for me not to be unaware that we are different. We seek different things, even here aloft, you and I. For I seek more security. On that account have I come to Zarathustra, for he is still the most steadfast tower and will. Today, when everything tottereth, when all the earth quaketh, ye, however, when I see what your eyes you make, it almost seemeth to me that ye seek more insecurity, more horror, more danger, more earthquake. Ye long, it almost seemeth to me, forget my presumption, ye higher men, ye long for the worst and dangerous life, which frightened me most, for the life of wild beasts, for forests, caves, steep mountains, and labyrinthine gorges. And it is not those who lead out of danger that plead you best, but those who lead you away from all paths, the misleaders. But if such longing in you be actual, it seemeth to me nevertheless to be impossible. For fear, that is man's original and fundamental feeling. Through fear, everything is explained, original sin and original virtue. Through fear there grew also my virtue, that is to say, science. For fear of wild animals, that hath been longest fostered in man, inclusive of the animal which he concealeth and feareth in himself, Zarathustra calleth it the beast inside. Such prolonged ancient fear at last becomes subtle, spiritual, and intellectual. At present, methinketh, it is called science. Thus spake the conscientious one, but Zarathustra, who had just come back into his cave and had heard and divined the last discourse, threw a handful of roses to the conscientious one and laughed on account of his truths. "Why," he exclaimed, "what did I hear just now? Verily it seemeth to me thou art a fool, or else I myself am one, and quietly and quickly will I put thy truth upside down. For fear is an exception with us. Courage, however, and adventure, and delight in the uncertain, in the unattempted, courage, seemeth to me the entire primitive history of man. The wildest and most courageous animals hath he envied and robbed of all their virtues. Thus only did he become man. This courage at last becomes subtle, spiritual, and intellectual. This human courage, with eagle's pinions and serpent's wisdom, this, it seemeth to me, is called at present Zarathustra, cried all of them there assembled, as if with one voice, and burst out at the same time into a great laughter. There arose, however, from them as if it were a heavy cloud. Even the magician laughed and said wisely, "Well, it is gone, my evil spirit. And did I not myself warn you against it when I said that it was a deceiver, a lying and deceiving spirit, especially when it showeth itself naked? But what can I do with regards to its tricks? Have I created it in the world? Well, let us be good again, and of good cheer, and although Zarathustra looketh with evil eye, just see him, he disliketh me. Ere night cometh, will he again learn to love and laud me. He cannot live long without committing such follies. He loveth his enemies. This art knoweth he better than anyone I have seen, but he taketh revenge for it on his friends." Thus spake the old magician, and the higher men applauded him, so that Zarathustra went round and mischievously and lovingly shook hands with his friends, like one who hath to make amends and apologize to everyone for something. When, however, he had thereby come to the door of his cave, lo, then had he again a longing for the good air outside and for his animals, and wished to steal out. And again we see the case for balance, right? Don't be fearful, don't be overly courageous, but courage is the one to default to. You should be seeking new things. You should be seeking new experiences. You should be seeking some slightly dangerous things. I am not advocating for you to put yourself into a dangerous situation. That is not for me to say. But you should be seeking something which stretches you, which makes you more than you are. Sometimes that does involve danger. Sometimes it doesn't, but often even it does. I'm burning through these quickly because I am ready to be done with Zarathustra. Among daughters of the desert. Go not away, said then the wanderer who called himself Zarathustra's shadow. Abide with us, otherwise the old gloomy affliction might again fall upon us. Now hath the old magician given us of his worst for our good, and lo, the good, pious Pope there hath tears in his eyes, and hath quite embarked again upon the sea of melancholy. Those kings may well put on a good air before us still, for that have they learned the best of all us present. Had they, however, no one to see them, I wager that with them also the bad game would again commence. The bad game of drifting clouds, of damp melancholy, of curtained heavens, of stolen suns, of howling autumn winds. The bad game of our howling and crying for help, Abide with us, O Zarathustra. Here there is much concealed misery that wisheth to speak, much evening, much cloud, much damp air. Thou hast nourished us with strong food for men and powerful proverbs. Do not let the weakly, womanly spirits attack us anew at desert. Thou alone maketh the air around thee strong and clear. Did I ever find anywhere on earth with such good air as with thee in thy cave? Many lands have I seen, my nose hath learned to test and estimate many kinds of air. But with thee do my nostrils taste their greatest delight. Unless it be, do forgive an old recollection. Forgive me an old after-dinner song, which I once composed amongst the daughters of the desert. For with them there was equally good, clear, oriental air. There was I furthest from cloudy, damp, melancholy old Europe. Then did I love such oriental maidens and other blue kingdoms of heaven, over which hang no clouds and no thoughts. Ye would not believe how charmingly they sat there, when they did not dance, profound, but without thoughts, like little secrets, like beribboned riddles, like dessert nuts, many-hued and foreign, forsooth, but without clouds, riddles which can be guessed. To please such maidens I then composed an after-dinner psalm. Thus spake the wanderer, who called himself Zarathustra's shadow, and before anyone answered him, he had seized the harp of the old magician, crossed his legs, and looked calmly and sagely around him. With his nostrils, however, he inhaled the air slowly and questioningly, like one who in new countries tasteth new foreign air. Afterward he began to sing with a kind of roaring. 2. The deserts grow, woe him who doth them hide. Ha! Solemnly, in effect, solemnly, a worthy beginning. Afric manner, solemnly, of a lion worthy, or perhaps of a virtuous howl monkey. But it's naught to you, ye friendly damsels, dearly loved, at whose own feet to me, the first occasion, to a European under palm trees, a seat is now granted. Selah. Wonderful, truly. Here do I sit now, the desert nigh, and yet I am so far still from the desert, even in naught yet deserted. That's it, that is, I'm swallowed down by this smallest oasis. It opened up, just yawning, its loveliest a mouth agape, the most sweet-odored of all mouthlets. Then fell I right in, right down, right through, in among you, ye friendly damsels dearly loved. Selah. Hail, hail to that whale, fish-like. If it thus, for its guest convenience, made things nice, ye well know, surely, my learned allusion. Hail to its belly, if it had ever a such loveliest oasis belly as this is. Though, however, I doubt about it, with this come I out of old Europe, that doubteth more eagerly than doth any elderly married woman. May the Lord improve it. Amen. Here do I sit now in this smallest oasis, like a date, indeed, brown, quite sweet, gold suppurating, for rounded mouth of maiden longing, but yet still more for youthful, maid-like, ice cold and snow white, and incisory front teeth, and for such assuredly pine the hearts of all ardent date fruits. Selah. Do thee there named south fruits now, similar, all too similar, do I lie here by little, flying insects, round sniffled and round played, and also by yet littler, foolisher, peccabler wishes and fantasies, environed by you, ye silent, presentitious maiden kittens. Dudu and Cilicia, round sphinx, that into one word I may crowd such feeling. Forgive me, O God, all such speech sinning. Sit I here, the best of air sniffling, paradisial air, truly, bright and buoyant air, golden mottled, as goodly air as ever, from lunar orb down fell, be it by hazard or supervened by its arrogancy, as the ancient poets relate it. But doubter, I'm now calling it in question. With this do I come indeed out of Europe, that doubteth more eagerly than doth any elderly married woman. May the Lord improve it. Amen. This is the finest air drinking, with nostrils outswelled like goblets, lacking future, lacking remembrances. Thus do I sit here, ye friendly damsels dearly loved, and look at the palm tree there, how it, to a dance girl like, doth bow and bend, and on its haunches bob. One doth it too, when one vieweth it long, to a dance girl like, who, as it seemeth to me, too long and dangerously persistent, always on a single leg hath stood, then forgot she thereby, as it seemeth to me, the other leg. For vainly I at least did search for the missing fellow jewel, namely the other leg, in the sanctified precincts, nigh her very dearest, very tenderest, flappering and fluttering and flickering skirting. Yea, if ye should, ye beauteous ones, quite take my word, she hath, alas, lost it. Who? It is away, forever away, the other leg. Ah, pity for that loveliest other leg. Where may it now tarry, all forsaken weeping, the lonesomest leg? In fear, perhaps, before a furious, yellow, blonde, and curled leonine monster? Or, perhaps, even gnawed away, nibbled badly, most wretched, woeful, nibbled badly. Selah. Oh, weep ye not, gentle spirits, weep ye not, ye date fruit spirits, milk bosoms, ye sweet wood heart purslets. Weep ye no more, pallid doo-doo. Be a man, Sulikia, bold. Or else should there perhaps something strengthening, heart strengthening, here most proper be, some inspiring text, some solemn exhortation? Ha! Up now, honor, moral honor, European honor. Blow again, continue. Bellows vox of virtue. Ha! Once more thy roaring, thy moral roaring, as a virtuous lion, nigh the daughters of the deserts roaring, for virtue's outhowl, ye very dearest maidens, is more than every European fervor, European hot hunger. And now do I stand here as European. I can't be different. God's help to me. Amen. The deserts grow, woe him who doth them hide. The Awakening. After the song of the wanderer and shadow, the cave became all at once full of noise and laughter, and since the assembled guests all spake simultaneously, and even the ass, encouraged thereby, no longer remained silent, a little aversion and scorn for his visitors came over Zarathustra, although he rejoiced at their gladness, for it seemed to him a sign of convalescence. So he slipped out into the open air and spake to his animals. Whither hath their distress now gone? Said he, and already did he himself feel relieved of his petty disgust. With me, it seemeth that they have unlearned their cries of distress. Though, alas, not yet their crying. And Zarathustra stopped his ears, for just then did the yea of the ass mix strangely with the noisy jubilation of those higher men. They are merry, he began again, and who knoweth, perhaps at their host's expense, and if they have learned of me to laugh, still it is not my laughter they have learned. But what matter about that? They are old people. They recover in their own way. They laugh in their own way. Mine ears have already endured worse, and have not become peevish. This day is a victory. He already yieldeth. He fleeth. The spirit of gravity, mine old arch-enemy. How well this day is about to end, which began so badly and gloomily. And it is about to end. Already cometh the evening. Over the sea rideth it hither the good rider. How it bobbeth, the blessed one, the home-returning one, in his purple saddles. The sky gazeth brightly thereon, the world lieth deep. O all ye strange ones who have come to me, It is already worthwhile to have lived with me. Thus spake Zarathustra, and again came the cries and laughter of the higher men out of the cave. Then began he anew. They bite at it, my bite taketh. There departeth also from them their enemy, the spirit of gravity. Now do they learn to laugh at themselves? Do I hear rightly? My virile food taketh effect, my strong and savory sayings, and verily I did not nourish them with flatulent vegetables, but with warrior food, with conqueror food. New desires did I awaken. New hopes are in their arms and legs, their hearts expand. They find new words. Soon will their spirits breathe wantonness. Such food may sure enough not be proper for children, nor even for longing girls, old and young. One persuadeth their bowels otherwise. I am not their physician and teacher. The disgust departeth from these higher men. Well, that is my victory. In my domain they become assured. All stupid shame fleeth away. They empty themselves. They empty their hearts. Good times return unto them. They keep holiday and ruminate. They become thankful. That do I take as the best sign. They become thankful. Not long will I be here. They devise festivals and put up memorials to their old joys. They are convalescents. Thus spake Zarathustra joyfully to his heart and gazed outward. His animals, however, pressed up to him and honored his happiness and his silence. 2. All on a sudden, however, Zarathustra's ear was frightened, for the cave which he had hitherto been full of noise and laughter became all at once still as death. His nose, however, smelt a scent-sweet as vapor and incense odor, as if from burning pine cones. What happeneth? What are they about? He asked himself, and stole up to the entrance, that he might be able, unobserved, to see his guests. But wonder upon wonder, what was he then obliged to behold with his own eyes? They have, all of them, become pious again. They pray. They are mad, said he, and he was astonished beyond measure. And forsooth, all these higher men, the 2 kings, the Pope out of service, the evil magician, the voluntary beggar, the wanderer in shadow, the old soothsayer, the spiritually conscientious one, and the ugliest man, they all lay on their knees like children and credulous old women, and worshipped the ass. And just then began the ugliest man to gurgle and snort, as if something unutterable in him tried to find expression. When, however, he had actually found words, behold, it was a pious, strange litany in praise of the adored and censed ass, and the litany sounded thus: Amen, and glory and honor and wisdom and thanks and praise and strength be to our God, from everlasting to everlasting. The ass, however, here brayed, Yeah. He carrieth our burdens, he hath taken upon him the form of a servant. He is patient of heart and never saith nay, and he who loveth his God chastiseth him. The ass, however, here brayed, Yea. He speaketh not, except that he ever saith yea to the world which he created. Thus doth he extol his world. In his artfulness he speaketh not. Thus he is rarely found wrong. The ass, however, here brayed, Yea. Uncomely goeth he through the world. Grey is the favourite colour in which he wrappeth his virtue. Hath he spirit, then doth he conceal it. Every one, however, believeth in his long ears. The ass, however, here brayed, Yea. What hidden wisdom is it to wear long ears? To only say yea and never nay. Hath he not created the world in his own image, namely, as stupid as possible? The ass, however, here brayed, Yea. Thou goest straight in crooked ways. It concerneth thee little what seemeth straight or crooked unto us men. Beyond good and evil is thy domain. It is thine innocence not to know what innocence is. The ass, however, here brayed, Yea. Lo, how thou spurnest none from thee, neither beggars nor kings. Thou sufferest little children to come unto thee, and when the bad boys decoy thee, then sayest thou simply, Yea. The ass, however, here brayed, Yea. Thou lovest she asses and fresh figs. Thou art no food despiser. A thistle tickleth thy heart when thou chancest to be hungry. There is the wisdom of a god therein. The ass, however, here brayed, Yea. The Ass Festival. At this place in the litany, however, Zarathustra could no longer control himself. He cried out, Yea! Louder even than the ass, and sprang into the midst of his maddened guest. Whatever are you about, ye grown-up children? He exclaimed, pulling up the praying ones from the ground. Alas, if anyone else except Zarathustra had seen you, everyone would think you the worst blasphemers or the very foolish old women with your new belief. And thou thyself, thou old Pope, how is it in accordance with thee to adore an ass in such a manner as God? O Zarathustra, answered the Pope, forgive me, but in divine manners I am more enlightened even than thou, and it is right that it should be so. Better to adore God, so, in this form, than in no form at all. Think over this saying, mine exalted friend. Thou wilt readily divine that in such a saying there is wisdom. He who said God is a spirit made the greatest stride and slide hitherto made on earth towards unbelief. Such a dictum is not easily amended again on earth. Mine old heart leapeth and boundeth, because there is still something to adore on earth. Forgive it, O Zarathustra, to an old, pious, pontiff heart. And thou, said Zarathustra to the wanderer and shadow, thou callest and thinkest thyself a free spirit, and thou here practice such idolatry and hierology. Worse, verily, doest thou here than with any other bad brown girls, thou bad new believer. It is sad enough, answered the wanderer and shadow. Thou art right, but how can I help it? The old god liveth again, O Zarathustra. Thou mayest say what thou wilt. The ugliest man is to blame for it all. He hath reawakened him, and if he say that he once killed him with God's death, is always just a prejudice. And thou, said Zarathustra, thou bad old magician, what didst thou do? Who ought to believe any longer in thee in this free age when thou believe in such divine donkeyism? It was a stupid thing that thou didst. How couldst thou, a shrewd man, do such a stupid thing? O Zarathustra, answered the shrewd magician, thou art right. It was a stupid thing. It was also repugnant to me. And thou even, said Zarathustra to the spiritually conscientious one, consider, and put thy finger to thy nose. Doth nothing go against thy conscience here? Is thy spirit not too cleanly for this praying and the fumes of those devotees? There is something therein, said the spiritually conscientious one, and put his finger to his nose. There is something in this spectacle which even doeth good to my conscience. Perhaps I dare not believe in God. Certain it is, however, that God seemeth to me most worthy of belief in this form. God is said to be eternal, according to the testimony of the most pious. He who hath so much time taketh his time, as slow and as stupid as possible. Thereby can such a one nevertheless go very far. And he who hath too much spirit might well become infatuated with stupidity and folly. Think of thyself, O Zarathustra. Thou thyself, verily, even thou couldst well become an ass through superabundance of wisdom. Doth not the true sage willingly walk on the crookedest paths? The evidence teacheth it, O Zarathustra, thine own evidence. And thou thyself, finally, said Zarathustra, and turned towards the ugliest man, who still lay on the ground, stretching up his arm to the ass, for he gave it wine to drink. Say thou, nondescript, what hast thou been about? Thou seemest to me transformed. Thine eyes glow. The mantle of the sublime covereth thine ugliness. what didst thou do? Is it then true what they say, that thou hast again awakened him? And why? Was he not for good reasons killed and made away with? Thou thyself seemest to me awakened. What didst thou do? Why didst thou turn round? Why didst thou get converted? Speak, thou nondescript. O Zarathustra, answered the ugliest man, thou art a rogue. Whether he yet liveth or liveth again, or is thoroughly dead, which of us both knoweth the best? I ask thee. One thing, however, do I know, from thyself did I learn it once, O Zarathustra. He who wanteth to kill most thoroughly laugheth. Not by wrath, but by laughter doth one kill. Thus spakest thou once, O Zarathustra, thou hidden one, thou destroyer without wrath, thou dangerous saint, thou art a rogue. 2. Then, however, did it come to pass that Zarathustra, astonished at such merely roguish answers, jumped back to the door of his cave, and turned towards all his guests, cried out with a strong voice, O ye wags, all of you, ye buffoons, why do ye dissemble and disguise yourself before me? How the hearts of all you convulsed with delight and wickedness, because ye had at last become again like little children, namely pious, because ye at last did again as children do, namely prayed, folded your hands, and said, Good God, but now leave, I pray you, this nursery, mine own cave, where today all childishness is carried on. Cool down here outside your hot child wantonness and heart tumult. To be sure, except ye become as little children, ye shall not enter into that kingdom of heaven. And Zarathustra pointed aloft with his hands. But we do not all want to enter into the kingdom of heaven. We have become men, so we want the kingdom of earth. 3. And once more Zarathustra began to speak. O my new friends, said he, ye strange ones, ye higher men, how well do ye now please me? Since ye have again become joyful, ye have, verily, all blossomed forth. It seemeth to me that for such flowers as you, new festivals are required. A little valiant nonsense, some divine service and ass festival, some old joyful Zarathustra fool, some blusterer to blow your souls bright. Forget not this night and this ass festival, ye higher men, that did ye devise when with me, that do I take as a good omen. Such things only the convalescents devise. And should ye celebrate it again, this ass festival, do it from love to yourselves. Do it also from love to me, and in remembrance of me. Thus spake Zarathustra. The Drunken Song. Meanwhile, one after another had gone out into the open air, into the cool, thoughtful night. Zarathustra himself, however, led the ugliest man by the hand, that he might show him his night world, and the great round moon, and the silvery waterfalls near his cave. There they at last stood still, beside one another, all of them old people, but with comforted, brave hearts, and astonished in themselves that it was so well with them on earth. The mystery of the night, however, came nigher and nigher to their hearts, and anew Zarathustra thought to himself, Oh, how well do they now please me, these higher men, but he did not say it aloud, for he respected their happiness and their silence. Then, however, there happened that which in the astonishing long day was most astonishing. The ugliest man began once more, and for the last time, to gurgle and snort, and when he had at length found expression, behold, there sprang a question plump and plain out of his mouth, a good, deep, clear question, which moved the hearts of all who listened to him. My friends, all of you, said the ugliest man, what think ye? For the sake of this day, I am, for the first time, content to have lived my entire life. And that I testify so much is still not enough for me. It is worth while living on earth. One day, one festival with Zarathustra hath taught me to love the earth. Was that life? Well, I say unto death, well, once more. My friends, what think ye? Will ye not, like me, say unto death, was that life? For the sake of Zarathustra, well, once more. Thus spake the ugliest man, and it was not, however, far from midnight. And what took place then, think ye? As soon as the higher men heard his question, they became all at once conscious of their transformation and convalescence, and of him who was the cause thereof. Then did they rush up to Zarathustra, thanking, honoring, caressing him, and kissing his hands, each in his own peculiar way, so that some laughed and some wept. The old soothsayer, however, danced with delight, and though he was then, as some narrators suppose, full of sweet wine, he was certainly still fuller of sweet life, and had renounced all weariness. There are even those who narrate that the ass then danced, for not in vain had the ugliest man previously given it wine to drink. That may be the case, or it may be otherwise. And if in truth the ass did not dance that evening, there nevertheless happened then greater and rarer wonders than the dancing of an ass would have been. In short, as the proverb of Zarathustra said, what doth it matter? 2. When, however, this took place with the ugliest man, Zarathustra stood there like one drunken. His glance dulled, his tongue faltered, and his feet staggered. And who could divine what thoughts then passed through Zarathustra's soul? Apparently, however, his spirit retreated and fled in advance, and was in remote distances, and, as it were, wandering on the high mountain ridges, as it standeth written, twixt two seas. Wandering twixt the past and the future as a heavy cloud. Gradually, however, while the higher men held him in their arms, he came back to himself a little, and resisted with his hands the crowd of the honoring and caring ones. But he did not speak. All at once, however, he turned his head quickly, for he seemed to hear something, then laid his finger on his mouth and said, "Come, come." And immediately it became still and mysterious round about. From the depth, however, there came up slowly the sound of a clock bell. Zarathustra listened thereto like the higher men. Then, however, he laid his finger on his mouth a second time and said again, "Come, come, it is getting on to midnight." And his voice had changed, but still he had not moved from the spot. Then it became yet stiller and more mysterious, and everything hearkened, even the ass, and Zarathustra's naval animals, the eagle and the serpent. Likewise the cave of Zarathustra and the big, cool moon, and the night itself. Zarathustra, however, laid his hand upon his mouth for the third time and said, "Come, come, come. Let us now wander. It is the hour. Let us wander into the night." 3. Ye higher men, it is getting on to midnight. Then will I say something into your ears, as that old clock bell saith into mine ear. As mysteriously, as frightfully, and as cordially as that midnight clock bell speaketh it to me, which hath experienced more than one man, which hath already counted the smarting throbbings of your fathers' hearts. Ah, ah, how it sigheth, how it laugheth in its dreams, the old, deep, deep midnight. Hush, hush. Then is there many a thing heard which might not be heard by day. Now, however, in the cool air, when even all the tumult of your hearts hath become still, now doth it speak, now is it heard, now doth it steal into over wakeful nocturnal souls. Ah, ah, how the midnight sigheth, how it laugheth in its dreams. Hearest thou not how it mysteriously, frightfully, and cordially speaketh unto thee, the old deep, deep midnight? Old man, take heed. 4. Woe to me! Whither hath time gone? Have I not sunk into deep wells? The world sleepeth. Ha! Ah! The dog howleth, the moon shineth. Rather will I die. Rather will I die than say unto you what my midnight heart now thinketh. Already have I died, it is all over. Spider, why spinnest thou around me? Wilt thou have blood? Ah, ah, the dew falleth, the hour cometh. the hour in which I frost and freeze, which asketh and asketh and asketh, who hath sufficient courage for it? Who is to be master of the world? Who is going to say, thus shall ye flow, ye great and small streams? The hour approacheth. O man, thou higher man, take heed. This talk is for fine ears, for thine ears. What saith deep midnight's voice indeed? 5. It carrieth me away, my soul danceth. Day's work, day's work. Who is to be the master of the world? The moon is cool, the wind is still. Ah, have you already flown high enough? Ye have danced. A leg, nevertheless, is not a wing. Ye good dancers, now is all delight over. Wine hath become lees. Every cup hath become brittle. The sepulchres mutter. Ye have not flown high enough. Now do the sepulchres mutter, free the dead. Why is it so long night? Why not the moon make us drunken? Ye higher men, free the sepulchres, awaken the corpses. Why doth the worm still burrow? There approacheth the hour. There boometh the clock bell, there thrilleth still the heart, there burroweth still the woodworm, the heartworm. The world is deep. 6. Sweet lyre, I love thy tone, thy drunken, ranunculine tone. How long, how far hath come unto me thy tone from the distance, from the ponds of love? Thou old clock bell, thou sweet lyre, every pain hath torn thy heart. Father's pain, forefathers' pain. Thy speech hath become ripe like the golden autumn and the afternoon, like mine anchorite heart. Now sayest thou, the world itself hath become ripe, the grape turneth brown. Now doth it wish to die of happiness. Ye higher men, do you not feel it? There well up mysteriously an odor, a perfume and odor of eternity, a rosy blessed brown gold wine odor of old happiness, of drunken midnight death and happiness, which singeth, the world is deep and deeper than the day could read. 7. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. I am too pure for thee. Touch me not. Hath not my world just now become perfect? My skin is too pure for thy hands. Leave me alone, thou dull, doltish, stupid day. Is not the midnight brighter? The purest are to be masters of the world, the least known, the strongest, the midnight souls, who are brighter and deeper than any day. O day, thou gropest for me? Thou feelest for my happiness? For thee am I rich, lonesome, a treasure pit, a gold chamber? O world, thou wantest me? Am I worldly for thee? Am I spiritual for thee? Am I divine for thee? But day and world, ye are too coarse. Have cleverer hands. Grasp after deeper happiness, after deeper unhappiness. Grasp after some God. Grasp not after me. Mine unhappiness, my happiness is deep. Thou strange day, but yet am I no God, no God's hell. Deep is its woe. 8. God's woe is deeper, thou strange world. Grasp at God's woe, not at me. What am I? A drunken sweet lyre, a midnight lyre, a bell frog, which no one understandeth, which must speak before deaf ones. Ye higher men, for ye do not understand me. Gone, gone, O youth, O noontide, O afternoon. Now have come evening and night and midnight. The dog howleth, the wind. Is the wind not a dog? It whineth, it barketh, it howleth. How she sigheth, how she laugheth, how she wheezeth and panteth, the midnight. How she just now speaketh soberly, this drunken poetess, how she perhaps overdrunk her drunkenness. Has she become over-awake? Doth she ruminate? Her woe doth she ruminate over in a dream, the old deep midnight, and still more her joy. For joy, although woe can be deep, joy is deeper still than grief can be. 9. Thou grapevine, Why dost thou praise me? Have I not cut thee? Am I cruel? I am cruel. Thou bleedest. What meanest thy praise from my drunken cruelty? Whatever hath become perfect, everything mature, wanteth to die. So sayest thou. Blessed, blessed be the venturer's knife, but everything immature wanteth to live. Alas! Woe saith, Hence, go, away thou woe! But everything that suffereth wanteth to live, that it may become mature and lively and longing. Longing for the further, the higher, the brighter. I want heirs, so saith everything that suffereth. I want children, I do not want myself. Joy, however, doth not want heirs. It doth not want children. Joy wanteth itself. It wanteth eternity. It wanteth recurrence. It wanteth everything eternally like itself. Woe said, Break, bleed thou heart, wander thou leg, thou wing, fly, onward, upward, thou pain. Well, cheer up, O mine heart, woe saith, Hence, go. 10. Ye higher men, what think ye? Am I a soothsayer, or a dreamer, or a drunkard, or a dream reader, or a midnight bell, or a drop of dew, or a fume and fragrance of eternity? Hear ye it not? Smell ye it not? Just now hath my world become perfect. Midnight is also midday. Pain is also a joy. Curse is also a blessing. Night is also a sun. Go away, or ye will learn that a sage is also a fool. Said ye ever yea to one joy? O my friends, then said ye yea unto all woe. All things are enlinked, enlaced, and enamored. Wanted ye ever once to come twice? Said ye ever, Thou pleaseth me, happiness, instant, moment. Then wanted ye all to come back again. All anew, all eternal, all enlinked, enlaced, and enamored. Oh, then did ye love the world. Ye eternal ones, ye love it eternally and for all time. And also unto woe do ye say, Hence, go, but come back, for joys all want eternity. 11. All joy wanteth the eternity of all things. It wanteth honey, it wanteth lees. It wanteth drunken midnight, it wanteth graves. It wanteth graves' tears consolation. It wanteth gilded evening red. What doth not joy want? It is thirstier, hardier, hungrier, more frightful, more mysterious than all woe. It wanteth itself, it biteth into itself. The ring's will writeth in it. It wanteth love, it wanteth hate, it is overrich, it bestoweth, it throweth away, it beggeth for someone to take from it. It thanketh the taker, it would fain be hated. So rich is joy that it thirsteth for woe, for hell, for hate, for shame, for the lame, for the world, for this world. Oh, ye know it indeed. Ye higher men, for you doth it long, this joy, this irrepressible, blessed joy, for your woe, ye failures. For failures longeth all eternal joy. For joys all want themselves, therefore do they also want grief. O happiness, O pain, O break thou heart. Ye higher men do learn it, that joys want eternity. Joys want the eternity of all things. They want deep, profound eternity. 12. This is longer than I thought. I didn't read forward, so I was assuming we would be done, but I guess not. Have ye learned my song? Have ye divined what it would say? Well, cheer up, ye higher men, sing now my roundelay. Sing now yourselves the song, the name of which is, once more, the signification of which is, unto all eternity. Sing, ye higher men, Zarathustra's roundelay. O man, take heed, what saith deep midnight's voice indeed. I slept my sleep, from deepest dream I've awoke and pled. The world is deep and deeper than the day could read. Deep is its woe, joy, deeper still than grief can be. Woe saith, Hence, go. But joys all want eternity, want deep, profound eternity. The sign. In the morning, however, after this night, Zarathustra jumped up from his couch and, having girded his loins, came out of his cave glowing and strong, like a morning sun coming out of gloomy mountains. "Thou great star," spake he, as he had spoken once before, "thou deep eye of happiness, what would be all thy happiness if thou hadst not those for whom thou shinest? And if they remained in their chambers whilst thou art already awake, and comest and bestowest and distributest, how would thy proud modesty upbraid for it? Well, they still sleep, these higher men, whilst I am awake. They are not my proper companions, nor not for them do I wait here in my mountains. At my work I want to be at my day, but they understand not what are the signs of my morning. My step is not for them the awakening call. They still sleep in my cave, their dream still drinketh at my drunken songs. The audient ear, for me, the obedient ear, is yet lacking in their limbs." This had Zarathustra spoken to his heart when the sun arose. Then looked he inquiringly aloft, for he heard above him the sharp call of his eagle. "Well," called he upwards, "thus it is pleasing and proper to me. Mine animals are awake, for I am awake. Mine eagle is awake, and like me honoureth the sun. With eagle talons doth it grasp at the new light. Ye are my proper animals, I love you. But still do I lack my proper men." Thus spoke Zarathustra. Then, however, it happened that all of a sudden he became aware that he was flocked around and fluttered around as if by innumerable birds. The whizzing of so many wings, however, and the crowding around his head was so great that he shut his eyes. And verily there came down upon him as it were a cloud, like a cloud of arrows which poureth upon a new enemy. But behold, here it was a cloud of love, and showered upon a new friend. "What happened unto me?" thought Zarathustra in his astonished heart, and slowly seated himself on the big stone which lay close to the exit from his cave. But while he grasped about him with his hands, around him, above him, and below him, and repelled the tender birds, behold, there happened to him something still stranger, for he grasped thereby unawares into a mass of thick, warm, shaggy hair. At the same time, however, there sounded before him a roar, a long, soft, lion roar. "The sign cometh," said Zarathustra, and a change came over his heart. And in truth, when it turned clear before him, there lay a yellow, powerful animal at his feet, resting its head on his knee, unwilling to leave him out of love, and doing like a dog which again findeth its old master. The doves, however, were no less eager with their love than the lion, and whenever a dove whisked over its nose, the lion shook its head and wondered and laughed. When all this went on, Zarathustra spake only a word: "My children are nigh, my children." Then he became quite mute. His heart, however, was loosed, and from his eyes there dropped down tears, and fell upon his hands, and he took no further notice of anything, but sat there motionless, without repelling the animals further. Then flew the doves to and fro, and perched on his shoulder, and caressed his white hair, and did not tire of their tenderness and joyousness. The strong lion, however, licked away the tears that fell on Zarathustra's hands, and roared and growled shyly. Thus did these animals do. All this went on for a long time, or a short time, for properly speaking there is no time on earth for such things. Meanwhile, however, the higher men had awakened in Zarathustra's cave, and marshalled themselves for a procession to go and meet Zarathustra, and give him their morning greetings. For they had found, when they awakened, that he no longer tarried with them. When, however, they reached the door of the cave, and the noise of their steps had preceded them, the lion started violently. It turned away all at once from Zarathustra, and roaring wildly, sprang towards the cave. The higher men, however, when they heard the lion roaring, cried all aloud with one voice, fled back, and vanished in an instant. Zarathustra himself, however, stunned and strange, rose from his seat, looked around him, stood there astonished, inquired of his heart, but thought himself, and remained alone. What did I hear? Said he at last slowly. What happened unto me just now? But soon there came to him his recollection, and he took in at a glance all that had taken place between yesterday and today. Here is indeed the stone, said he, stroked his beard. On it sat I yestermorn, and here came the soothsayer unto me, and here heard I first the cry which I heard just now, the great cry of distress. O ye higher men, your distress was it that the old soothsayer foretold to me yestermorn. Unto your distress did he want to seduce and tempt me. O Zarathustra, said he to me, I came to seduce thee to thy last sin. To my last sin, cried Zarathustra, and laughed angrily at his own words. What hath been reserved for me as my last sin? And once more Zarathustra became absorbed in himself and sat down again on the big stone and meditated. Suddenly he sprang up. Fellow suffering with the higher men, he cried out, and with his countenance changed into brass. Well, that hath had its time. My suffering and my fellow suffering, what matter about them? Do I then strive after happiness? I strive after my work. Well, the lion hath come, my children are nigh, Zarathustra hath grown white, mine hour hath come. This is my morning, my day beginneth. Arise now, arise, thou great noontide. Thus spake Zarathustra, and left his cave, glowing and strong like a morning sun coming out of gloomy mountains. And thus ends Thus Spake Zarathustra. I intentionally did not stop because I was trying to get through it. I did not realize it was going to be almost 2 hours worth of just reading. There is worth here on earth. We should not be seeking entirely that which is beyond this earth. You should be seeking that which makes you happy here on earth. That is true. We should not forsake fellow suffering. That is also true. We should be striving to be co-endeavorers with our fellow men in their sorrows, right? So when someone has unfortunate things happen to them, we are meant to commiserate with them. We are meant to strategize with them. We are meant to help them to overcome their darkness. We are not meant to take in that darkness. We are not meant to ruminate on that darkness. We are not meant to dwell in that darkness. We are meant to help to overcome it. We are meant to show the light to others and have others show their light to us. We are meant to find the happiness in this existence. We are meant to find our purpose among those around us and not excluded from them. Life, like enlightenment, is about balance. It is about not the exclusion of things, but the inclusion of all things, of taking the dark parts of you and turning them into the fertilizer for the best parts of you. And that's where I'm going to have to wrap this one up. I cannot believe that my voice has lasted this long. If you don't know what that means, you should definitely check out some of the older stuff. But for me to be able to talk for 2 hours, thank you, Lord, for my blessings, for my enlightenment, and for my healing. I am eternally grateful for those things. Hopefully I brought a little bit of enlightenment and not too much confusion to a series of somewhat difficult topics. I didn't have a whole lot to expound upon in this one because I have expounded upon all of these things in all of the previous ones. This is just a reiteration of everything we have already done, so it is what it is. If you like what I'm doing over here, let me know down below. Give me a like, share, and a sub. Throw me a comment. Let me know if you agree or disagree. If it remains respectful, it gets to remain up. And if you really like what I'm doing, hit me with that super thanks, because I am not a communist. If you have some works that you would like me to read aloud and discuss, leave that in the comments down below as well. To the crew, thanks for hanging out. I appreciate every single minute that you are here with me, and I am praying for you every single day. Until next time, I love you. God loves you. You are perfect, whole, and complete, just the way that you are. And this has been Pitt's Take. Peace.